We're just about to leave for the Cranberry Conference in Quebec. We had a really cold night there last night, so I'm glad we've got this whole farm covered. So we've got all 3 farms covered up. They're all protected, and we don't have to worry about them while we're gone. And when we get back, we'll go out and we'll start getting our irrigation in as quickly as possible. Okay, we finally made it to our destination. This area is not made for big country trucks like this. So getting around is really a delicate procedure. I get a spot right beside Nigel. We're in the middle of ski country here. This is a nice little resort.
Do you like your bed? Huh? It's a little big. A little big for you.
We're gonna go for a little walk outside. Let's go see what this place looks like. There's a beautiful lake right beside us. Unfortunately, it's all frozen. But let's go see what else this place has to offer.
Memories.
We're just making a big baby video. I want to get right up there where that house is. There's a lot of nice houses here. Okay, we're coming to the top. Where are we going anyways? You enjoying the walk? Okay, we made it to the top. We'll take a little peek from up here. There's our hotel right there. There's gonna be some happy customers living in this house. Wow. Wonder how the other kids are doing.
We're managing just fine with Nanny.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet Nanny, she has control. All right, let's head in.
Let's get a key.
Yep.
I can make a reel.
Oh, there's probably a bunch of cranberry farmers down there, just enjoying themselves. All right, we're gonna settle in for the night. That was a long day. Tomorrow's the start of the convention. All right, it's the morning of the first day of the conference. Folks are down there enjoying their first meal of the day. What is that?
It's a weed puller for the these are main.
You're saying that's a weed puller?
Yes.
That's a mechanical weed puller. Here with my friend at Agri Mechanic. Check him out.
Yeah, the big guys.
That's right. This is the Horto booth just behind me here. They give a lot of help for us on our farm. So their units, as you can see right here, I've talked about it before, but these all help us with our temperatures and our soil tension, so it's really handy.
Revenue, pretty much. Yeah.
A lot of assistance for cranberry farmers. We got agri mechanics, we got Horto, we got several others here that do like pipe. There's lots of agronomists here. There's a lot of experience here in this hallway. So these little guys have stood the test of time. It's a little tough to see, but those are all the workers. Yep. And then there's a queen right there. That's yep.
For the channels, you want to select E for English, F for French. I suppose you want to keep it in English.
Yeah.
And if you have any problems with it, just come back to me.
I'd like to say a few words in English to thank our American partners and partners from the Maritimes. Thank you very much for being here. We look forward to seeing your presentations and to continue our partnership.
C'est la même chose, c'est comme plusieurs boutons. La floraison de la canneberge. Donc, il y avait très peu de choses en fleurs. C'était le mot d'ordre à l'époque aussi de ne pas compétitionner avec la fleur de canneberge.
When we're thinking about frost protection, I know there's a lot of snow out there, but the spring will come, and it's a very stressful time for all of you. And so I thought that this would be a good time just to go through a refresh of thinking about, what we can do, how can we protect our plants during the spring. It was even good for me to refresh this topic. So freeze is about temperature, while frost is about ice forming on your plants, on the surface of your plants. So we look at that, and then you look at that over time at night, and then you measure it, and you're like, oh, the air temperature, is way over my critical temperature. Let's say my critical temperature is 0.5 degrees Celsius, and I'm watching my weather station, and my weather station, oh, it's 2 degrees Celsius. You're fine. You said, I'm fine. I'm not going to have any problems. I'm not going to have any damage. But then, if you start looking at what's happening with your plant temperature, you can see that when your air temperature is above your critical temperature, your plant temperature might be already below that. So there's a big gap of difference. Your plants were colder much earlier than the air temperature achieved that critical temperature. So if your beds are dry, they will cool faster at night versus when they're moist and you have a lot of water in the soil. That soil is going to capture a lot of energy, and it's going to take much longer to release them. That's why every time we're going to have a frost, we always tell growers that one of the things that they can do is really irrigate as much as possible. The sensor placement is really, really important. We talk about how you need to find the coldest spot in your marsh. You really want to do that. There's a lot of ways that you can do that right now. There's a lot of new technologies with drones in which you can take some images and find in a frost night which ones are the coldest spot. And besides, you all know which ones are the coldest spots in your marshes. You want to put it in the center of the bed, as close as possible to the canopy surface. So when you have really high relative humidity, You know, the dew point can happen if you have 90% humidity. The dew point will happen when you're 2 degrees Celsius. Really early on, you're going to see a dew point. But then if you start lowering the relative humidity, that dew point is going to start happening, you know, at lower and lower temperatures. So here you have the different changes. And this is really important because when the dew point happens and water condensates, we talked about the state of water. When the water condensates, it releases energy as well. So that's why we're so interested in the dew point. A lower dew point pressure, the air is more humid, so the temperature will drop less once you start your irrigation. However, if you have a really large dew point depression, the air is really dry, and when you start your irrigation to protect the plant, the temperature is going to drop a lot, and your plants can be sensitive and could be damaged. So, this is a reference table for you to use. Consider the effect of dew point on the rate of cooling and on plant temperatures relative to the current plant critical temperature. We just talked about that. If it's a dry night and the dew point also is below the freezing point, the temperatures are going to drop really fast below the freezing point and you might have damage. Air temperatures drop quickly above the dew point. Be aware if how the dew point relates to whether you're above the freezing point or below the freezing point. Cooling rates slow as the air temperature approaches the dew point due to the heat of the condensation of the water. So it keeps you can gain a little bit of time. And at that time, the plant temperature is going to be the same as the dew point. If drier air is present, you don't reach the dew point before you get to 0 degrees Celsius. You need to start your irrigation earlier, much earlier, to compensate for the heat loss of evaporation. Run a sufficient volume of water to compensate for radiative and evaporative heat loss. You guys know this, but we need a lot of water to be able to be freezing it so that it's not evaporating. And if you have wind, this changes everything. Once you have wind and you have a lot of wind, a lot of what we talked about is going to go away because the wind is just going to mix all of the temperatures, and then you're going to have to start considering other things. And in some cases, it's just better to do nothing.
Got some new products here from Ocean Spray. So you got some dry cranberries infused with cherry juice. We'll grab a couple of those. Got a couple cold ones in here. Let's try it out.
Et la conductivité hydraulique en dessous des drains qu'on appelle K2. Habituellement, quand on va sur le terrain prendre des conductivités, on veut avoir ces deux.
À 4 pouces de différence, il n'y a pas de variabilité d'humidité entre le centre du champ, le bout du champ, le
And 114 degrees is pretty hot. It's about 42, 43 degrees Celsius. So we began looking at temperature of the fruit. We took a small thermistor probe and put it in the calyx end of the fruit, sort of like a cranberry doctor, you know, put the temperature probe in there. We had temperatures of 110, 112 inside the fruit. If that fruit was shaded, if it was inside the canopy, it was quite a bit cooler. But what we found is that when the fruit is held at 108 or 42 degrees for about 2 hours, it becomes irreversibly softened.
Puis quand on applique des fongicides pour lutter cette maladie fongique, forcément on s'expose à un risque majeur, c'est celui de la résistance aux fongicides. Il y a des individus qui perdent leur sensibilité qui sont résistants, ça se fait rare, mais comme on a
de deux manières différentes pour lutter contre la maladie.
Donc ça c'est la barre rouge. Ça c'est l'appréciation du dollar canadien par rapport au dollar américain depuis décembre 2024.
All right, we're wrapping up the first day here at the conference. Just behind me, we've got a giant room here packed with all the people who attended today. Let's go check it out. It's a little bit crowded, so hopefully I don't trip over anybody.
D'avoir l'attention quand tout le monde est assis, des belles discussions d'entamer. Mais je retiendrai pas votre attention très longtemps pour ce soir.
Now we are in Quebec, so it's a lot of French. You get used to it now.
2 minutes de votre attention. Merci.
Just over here, we've got our New Brunswick table.
Mais si jamais il y en a qui quittent ce soir, juste ne pas oublier de remplir le formulaire d'appréciation qui est à la fin de recueillir les participants et de le laisser à la table de la PCQ.
Tina, what do you sell? Oasis juice?
Yes, we sell Oasis juice, Long juice, Allen's juice, all those kinds of juices.
Excellent, guys. Look it up. Get into it, all right? It's delicious. All right. See you, Tina. Thanks.
Eric, you're going to have to send us some pictures.
So we finished up the first day. I'm just going to run inside here. We've got some breakfast, and then we're going to finish up with the second day. We've got a couple speakers here this morning, and then around noon, we'll wrap up. People will start heading out.
Système en contexte rétrospectif et prévisionnel. Donc c'est un projet qui débute.
And the total hydrological process of the Quebec Basin.
They gave them cranberry twice a day, morning and night. They gave them a standardized juice extract that had a particular amount of packs in it. And they got a 20% reduction in suppression, I should say, of the bacteria. So it was still there, it just wasn't doing anything. It wasn't causing a problem. And it, again, wasn't killing the bacteria, but it was keeping it from damaging the body and progressing to the cancer stage. So this may not seem like a lot, but a lot of drugs, this is what a lot of drugs do, up to 20%. So there were no side effects or health risks, and we tell people you can dilute it out in others, say sweetened juices or carbonated water, whatever, add it to foods, it's fine. But this isn't a substitute for the antibiotic regimen, I have to make that clear. Just as cranberry use for UTI prevention is not a substitute. Once you get these infections with UTI, you have to get the antibiotics.
This hotel is starting to clear out now. The Cranberry Conference is all done. There was a lot of knowledge there to take in. We're gonna head into town and just check out the old Quebec City. Don't really have a plan, we'll just see where we end up. This parking lot behind me here, there was no parking available there yesterday. I had to skip out, and Danielle actually had to stand and hold my parking spot while I was gone so that I could have it when I got back. We have about a 10-minute drive and we'll get into the old Quebec City and we'll go check it out. Take a look up here and see what's going on. Basically feels like I'm walking through 1800s Quebec City. This looks like the remnants of an old foundation. It's a bit lower than where we're standing now. So we just got to carry the baby stroller down. Careful. This one's kind of cool. Looks like a happening spot in there. Just checking out the romantic Montreal. What is it?
Like standing here, turn this way to get back to other way.
It's good. Yale's getting a beaver tail. Thank God. Come on, woman.